Well, let's go ahead and get into our first game of the KSL Summer Slam. The first match of the day. And we have spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Babylon, the red Zerg player. He is, for Mystery Gaming, RagnaroK. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner, the onside gamer, the one and only GOAT of the Terrans. It's Maru. Super excited to have Maru here. Of course, you know there's a lot of excellent players in this world, but there are only a select few that you just don't see quite as often. Maru, he doesn't play in every single event. He picks and chooses. But he did play in some of the first KSLs we had and earned enough points from those wins just to get into the Summer Slam. Other players had to play every single week, and RagnaroK actually didn't make it in via the points, despite playing quite a bit in the weeklies. He had some decent results, but wasn't quite able to get there. He was actually just outside of getting seeded directly into the tournament. But he did make it through the qualifier. Seemed quite easy for him. Got through on the upper bracket. You know what? Do a little magic here, and we will make this say RagnaroK while we're casting RagnaroK. If this is a super fancy tournament, I would have been like, can you play on an account that has your name, please? Which is funny because I'm pretty sure his actual real-life name is Young, which is why he's on this account, why he plays in this name. So I guess technically he is playing with his name. Maru, of course, going to have the excellent Reaper control, and he's going for the double Rax Reaper. Looks like it's just going to be 3 Reapers. We saw Young yesterday actually go for 5 off of this, which is, it's kind of fun that there's some variations that you do have to respond differently to. The 3 Reapers versus 5 Reapers, the Queens just don't fight quite as well, and RagnaroK already not able to sneak a drone out to get the 3rd base. So as these Reapers head towards the main, we might see him send a drone down there. I'm waiting for it, but not quite yet. RagnaroK seems content to stay on 2 bases for now. Meantime, Maru getting into that stim, finishing up that natural base, and already working on the 3rd command center. The 3rd CC is actually further ahead than RagnaroK's 3rd base, and this is where it becomes kind of a problem for RagnaroK. These 3 Reapers are going to continue to stay alive. Maru's control is just too good to really lose those at this early stage. We see RagnaroK going for a lair immediately. You know, I saw no link speed on the production tab, and I was like, is it done already? No, this is just RagnaroK, you know, going for a very specific response, and I'm not exactly sure what that response is. Part of me is wondering if he's going to go straight for Budas. That feels like it would be very bad against the usual follow-up to this, which is just a big group of Marines coming across the map. It looks like Maru's going for the 2-1-1 follow-up. 16 Marines with stim in 2 medevacs. RagnaroK is stopping Maru from getting in and getting this scout, but it feels like, yeah, Maru's just going to try to drive on by and see what is going on. Drones are going to get pulled to fight here, but that is not ideal. Maru's going to get the full scout to the main base. He's going to be able to pick off a couple of drones, though that one gets transfused to stay alive. He sees that the Lings don't have speed either. You probably noticed this pool was still upgrading it. Doesn't get a scout on the Spire, but if I can see a lair and guess it might be Spire, I'm sure that Maru can as well. He's got double eBay going up, and I feel like this is just going to work out very well timing-wise. He drops down a couple of turrets. So now the question is, what does Maru do? Does he just play defensively, try to set up 3 bases? He knows his 3rd is significantly before RagnaroK's. I feel like at this point, Maru maybe just wants to put up a couple turrets, get up a group of Marines and make sure he's safe at home from the initial flock of mutas. The thing about mutas is they kind of have to do damage in this situation for RagnaroK, because it's going to be very difficult for him to get up to that good 3-base economy that he wants to be at right now. These mutas need to keep the Terran back, need to keep him defensive so that RagnaroK is free to tech and expand drone up as he needs to back at home. And ideally these mutas would get at least some damage done. It's very rare to see 2-base muta these days. It was such a popular thing for a while. But even at the highest level, I feel like 2-base muta was never that popular. And I don't know, I'm a little worried for RagnaroK here. This feels like an off-the-cuff response to those Reapers coming across. But it's such a common build to see those Reapers that it feels like it can't be. It feels like RagnaroK has to know exactly what he's going for here. And Maru, I mean, he didn't get that scout earlier. But he does have those turrets down. Lings are coming in trying to combo with the mutas here. The mutas just trying to pick off a few units here and there, but the Lings fight in a very bad position. The Marines find their nice little area here to get minimum surface area from those Lings. And RagnaroK gets pushed back. He just spent a lot of larva on those Zerglings. He's continuing to remake them now. Muta's looking for some damage here, but yeah, Maru's got those turrets up and around, keeping the mutas away. Mutas will eventually be able to kill turrets, but right now without that +1 finish, and with the Mutaflock still only at 11, he can't really take on a turret at the moment. He's just trying to take on the Marines. I think part of RagnaroK's plan here seems to be keeping the Marine count low enough where eventually the mutas can overwhelm. And that's a scary place to be in for the Terran. Ooh, we see a Widowmine going off here, getting a kill. The Widowmine gets 1 guaranteed muta kill, but the real danger is how much splash damage it can do to these air units, which clump so egregiously. And it actually takes 4 Widowmines to kill a clump of mutas from the splash damage. RagnaroK still finding damage, and again, still keeping Maru back at home. So Maru's going to send a Widowmine drop out now, which should certainly get some damage done. But usually the Terran would be on the map, pushing creep spread back, trying to drop behind a base, trying to get damage done and trade with Lings. But this is the first time Maru is crossing the halfway point of the map with his Marines. We're 8 minutes into this game. The medevac has been spotted. The mutas are going to take it down on the bottom side, and that's allowing Maru to move through the top side of the map, but he knows the mutas are coming back, and he's going to pull away. The scary thing about the mutas isn't them fighting the Marines, it's that the Lings and the Banes can force the pickup, and then the mutas can kill the medevacs. So Maru very smartly pulls back, keeps his units alive, but this is, again, it's just allowing RagnaroK to have his side of the map all to himself. It does feel like RagnaroK, while he is pushing that creep spread a bit, hasn't been taking bases very much, though. He's just got his 4th base on the way, no 5th, still only 66 drones, and he's continuing to pump units out. It feels like he's waiting for Maru to say, okay, you've been macroing enough, I'm going to go attack you. And then RagnaroK can surprise him with way more units than Maru might be thinking about existing on his side of the map. But Maru's so far playing so patiently, and the thing is, the problem here for RagnaroK, Maru is not afraid of the late game. If he realizes that turtling is the way to play, he will hot switch to that. He can be very aggressive when he needs to be. And he's going to start pushing out a little bit here. Lings and Banes looking like they want to come in maybe for a counterattack. They're careful of these Widowmines, which there are a lot of Widowmines. Already got 7 here, and I think these groups might have some more with them. I guess it's just the 7. Still feels like an awful lot of Widowmines. The mutas are now going to rotate around, and at this point, they can start beating turrets. 1 turret suddenly is not enough to deal with the flock of mutas that is out. 14 with +1. But as we see, Maru already knows he's got the double turret here, the Widowmines as well in the main, and Maru's going to head across the map. RagnaroK, it looks like he just wants to go for the full-on counterattack. He's got some units back at home to try to defend, but he has a ton of Banelings coming through, and oh my god, 6 Banes getting bogged by that Widowmine. The Banelings smashing through the Marines. They're going to get to this juicy SCV line. A lot of workers going down for Maru, but he is pushing up through the natural. And it doesn't feel like there's nearly enough here for RagnaroK. He's trying to morph some Banelings and get on top of these units, but even a Hellbat out front. The Mutas and Lings, though, just ravaging the mineral lines here. 19 SCVs have gone down so far. The drones have been largely untouched. Maru is pushing through, and he's getting some damage done. It looks like he might be able to take down a base. But RagnaroK, he's going to pull the trigger. He's going to go for it. Maru is 3 split. Are there enough Banes to come in here and take down these Marines? More Marines show up, though. This is a real problem for RagnaroK, and it doesn't look like he's going to have enough. GG. Game number 1 goes to Maru. Felt like a very weird game. I think part of that, RagnaroK maybe trying to throw Maru off a little bit, keep his usual gameplay in kind of a weird state. But Maru's so good at improvising, realizing what he's up against and what he has to do to counteract it, making those smart calls not to send units across the map when it's not good for them to go. It's so hard to play against somebody who's just got that kind of a game sense, and I don't even know exactly what to call it. But it felt like RagnaroK tried to make that game a little weird and force Maru into a situation where he wasn't sure what the right or wrong answer was, right? Oh, you're 2-base muting against this. I don't know if that feels super good. And then instead of expanding and taking the whole side of the map, RagnaroK was just pumping units. I think hoping Maru would move out a little bit sooner, and then instead of droning and taking bases, which is what I had expected RagnaroK to do, RagnaroK could have surprised him with a bunch of units, and it's just not what happened. Maru, very patient, didn't move out until he knew he had an overwhelming amount of Marines and mines. And now we're going to head into game 2, see if he's got anything else up his sleeves here. Any other kind of niche strategies, slightly less walked paths. It is fun to see him bust out something a little bit different than we're used to seeing. In the lower left-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and it is Mystery Gaming's RagnaroK. And of course, his opponent in the upper right for Onside Gaming, it's Maru. Maru again going for the low ground double racks here. Never particularly surprised to see this. Maru and Beyond are really the two that do this build very, very often. Be interested to see if Maru does something a little bit different with it. There are a lot of variations we've seen time and time again. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him just keep busting out that kind of 2-1-1 version. Where he does 3 Reapers, into Stim, into 2 Medevacs. It's just such a solid way to play. There's a reason we saw the 16 Marine with Stim drop in this matchup for like 3 straight years in the vast majority of TVZs. It's just very good, and this is like a slightly different version of the opening that has these Reapers coming out. Beyond really likes to mix in the 3rd racks and just pump Reapers, do a lot of damage. I think Beyond's maybe more likely to go for some of the variations of this build than Maru, but one of the hard things about Maru is it doesn't feel like he's afraid of any sort of play style. He will do what he thinks is best in the matchup, and it can be hard to fight against. Now he's going to spot this early 3rd from RagnaroK, who did not go for a 3rd last game for a long time. And he's going to put this bunker down well in range to try to force the cancel. It's kind of interesting. It's almost like a mind game showing RagnaroK, hey, there's a bunker here. I mean, he could put this bunker back here, and the hatchery would just not be able to see it. He's very purposely putting this in range. Obviously, it has less surface area here, so it's very good against the Zerglings. And it's a really nice spot for the SCD to hang out as well. lot of Lings coming here out of RagnaroK, and Ling speed is about to finish. Reaper's going to have to get into the bunker. They're going to get joined by a Marine. SCV is on repair. A couple of Lings sent to try to hit that. The SCV can only do so much. It looks like the base will get up. The bunker will get bopped. And I think all of these units are just about dead here. And that was a lot of investment. These Reapers even continuing to gain value as they go. Oh my god. Can these Reapers please die? Maru's insane. Ling's gonna try to hit the other side. I actually kind of wish they would stay there. Oh, oh, RagnaroK. Okay. I was like, yeah, why aren't they hitting this anymore? They don't want Maru to get too defensive. They want to morph into some Banes. RagnaroK is not done yet. He said, yeah, my third's still up. I'm gonna macro. I'm totally gonna macro, dude. Don't even worry about it. Oh, and Maru trying to build the wall, but it's too late for the wall. And RagnaroK takes a quick game too. He says, no, I will not let you do that. You want to build that? You want to build that bunker outside my third base? Fine. You go for it, bud. I'll crack it. What a beautiful game from RagnaroK. I mean, really taking advantage of kind of that greed of going for that cancel on the third base with that build. It also really shows us why we don't often see Terrans go for that low ground wall anymore. That can cause some real problems. The Bane Bust is definitely a vulnerability of that wall. But really what it was in that game was a vulnerability of the scouting. There was a Bane nest in the back of RagnaroK's main, and if those Reapers had decided to just kind of play around, hop in the main, see if they could get a drone kill, bop the queens back, they would have scouted that. But instead, Maru, he tried to go for the more value play, try to get that third base to cancel, which is a very possible thing to get to happen. We actually saw that. I think Ryung might have forced Scarlet to cancel that yesterday, third base. In any case, ended up biting Maru in the butt. RagnaroK, he had a plan. And his plan worked out beautifully. We're going to get into game 2 here momentarily. I just needed to make sure RagnaroK's name was in the right position, and it is, because spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Neo Humanity, tying up this best of 5 1-1. It's RagnaroK. His opponent in the lower right-hand corner for Onside Gaming is Maru. Again, going for that low ground wall. It's kind of interesting because a lot of other Korean Terrans have definitely adopted this style, but they're very picky and choosy about when they'll use it. When they'll do the low ground 2 racks versus when they'll just go for the high ground racks into Hellions or some other variation of a Terran opener. But Maru and Byun, they really do this almost every single time in this matchup. I don't know, I like the consistency. It is kind of cool to see that consistency. It's nice seeing a new build order, a new opening come into play at this stage of the game. We do have talks of a new patch that's being worked on. It's testing right now. We're not really sure where that's going to end up. There's been quite a lot of pushback to a few of the changes. So I'm not sure exactly where that patch will end up, but in the last few years, the game has not changed super significantly, not nearly as much as it had in years past. But we do still get some changes to the builds here and there, some variations of play styles. It's nice to see that things can still evolve, even when the game is not being updated quite as much. There's a Marine coming out of this. Is this going to be the same kind of thing for Maru? He did have a Marine run across the map last game, too. Kind of interesting. But it looks like Maru just playing it pretty standard. Other than that, it is just going to be 2 Reapers. I don't know why this Marine's running across the map. Oh, okay. The Marine is here to try to kill this Overlord or push this Overlord away. I'm pretty sure there's a spot this Overlord can go where it can't be touched by the Marine. Kind of like right here. I kind of like that on this map. Instead of an Overlord pillar, there's just like a big Overlord area. It does give the Overlord a little bit less scouting power. Usually it can sit like right here for free. But on this map, it doesn't have quite as much vision. It can just kind of see what's going on, keep tabs on some of the stuff. Maru again going for what looks to be the 2-1-1 follow-up, but RagnaroK is again going for a 2-base lair. So he's really trying to pull out all the stops here to take advantage of Maru's builds. 2-base lair for the 2-base Muta in game 1. This game we've got a Roach Warren. I'm going to go ahead and guess there's going to be a Nidus Worm. With a lair this quick and no 3rd base just yet, it seems like he's working his way towards this base. It feels like a Nidus Worm coming out of RagnaroK here. And I love this choice. I mean, this feels like something Dark would do, honestly. Maru, he says, all right, I need to go scout. It's the nice thing about the Reapers. They will be able to get in and see what's going on. Killing drones. Nice little bonus here. They're going to go ahead and get 1. They get 2. They see the lair, but crucially, Maru does not scout that Roach Warren this time.
SCV ready.
Now, last game, it was the Mutas, of course. Or game 1, I should say. So he might be expecting more Mutas this time, but considering that didn't work out for RagnaroK, well, I think the initial Muta opening wasn't terrible for him. I'm not sure if Maru's going to be expecting Roaches, and I did mention a Nidus Worm. It seems like it's not a Nidus Worm. It's just straight up Roach speed. It's going to be a 3rd base here for RagnaroK. This has been very interesting. Seeing RagnaroK kind of mess around with a few different build options against Maru's very macro-focused opener. Obviously, there's going to be some aggression as well. As it looks like Maru's going to send these Marines across regardless. I mean, he's not changing up his build again. He hasn't scouted the Roaches.
SCV ready.
Otherwise, I wonder if there would be, like, Liberators trying to come out of this to stop the eventual Roach push, which RagnaroK is on 45 drones, and I don't think he's going to be making any more for a while. A couple more go down to this Banshee. Now, the Banshee I do like a lot here for Maru, but it goes down after getting 5 kills and still doesn't scout that Roach Warren, doesn't scout the Roaches at the front. Yeah, I'm getting worried for Maru, honestly. He's going to try to take his 3rd base. He's going to head out with the Marines in the medevac. I think the Reaper finally just saw some Roaches because he immediately drops these units back in his base. He's still going to land this base, or at least send it out, but it's not really going to be doing much for a while. As RagnaroK's hitting the front with a lot of Roaches and Raptors, he has 70 army supply. There is 1 siege tank to fall back to, but the tank can't protect all of this. Looks like combat shield is going to go down here to Files. Maru decides to pull back. The Roaches force that base to lift again, but it'll just run away. Maru has to play defensive. He's got 2 tanks here. No bunker, though. I'm a little surprised. We haven't seen a bunker go down. Feels like a powerful defensive tool. RagnaroK is droning up back at home, so he stopped that 3rd from going down. He's taken down some of the production, or at least denied the position of the production, delaying combat shields. Ooh, but he is doing some big tank shots. Only lost 3 Roaches so far, though. This is where the Banshee, I feel like, would be really, really nice for Maru to have. That Banshee is designed specifically to stop Roach pushes. That's, I'm sure, a big part of the reason Maru worked it into his build, was to stop some of those early Roach aggression tactics we see from, again, players like Dark. This feels like a very Dark move out of RagnaroK. And I love to see him working with builds like this. Now he's going to pull back. Maru recognizes that probably means he's droning, expanding. Exactly what RagnaroK's doing. He's even teching off the back of this. So RagnaroK is trying to take advantage of Maru being held back, playing defensively. That's not really how Maru does it. He's going to move across the map immediately. RagnaroK's going to have to hope his Roaches are enough to deal with this. There are some Roaches and Ravagers in the main base to try to take advantage of these units as they drop out. Maru can't unload everything all at once. He's just going to have to kind of fly around here. Good defense from RagnaroK so far. He hasn't taken any damage, except for the one overload. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Maru, though, of course, he has his third base up and running. He's down a few workers, but against the Zerg, that's kind of to be expected. Marines trying to take advantage of the Ravagers not having a lot of Roach support, targeting down a few of those easier to kill units. Even getting a few Roaches here before picking up and getting away. This is nice for Maru. It forces RagnaroK to build a few more units that he'd like to. I think at this stage, RagnaroK really just wants to get the drone count up and get that tech going. He has pretty successfully done that, though. His hive is about halfway done. His fourth base is done. He's at 76 workers right now. It feels like RagnaroK's in a very good spot. This is exactly what I see Dark do. I hate to keep bringing Dark up, but I mean, this is, to me, Dark's playstyle. Especially on this map, I feel like he does a lot of these kinds of builds. Getting to that hive immediately off the back of such a quick attack. Yeah, getting that tech and economy going. It's very Dark-esque, and I think that's really, really good for RagnaroK. But Maru, he doesn't want to let those Vipers come out and gain energy. The Vipers are on their way, but Maru's already pushing through the middle of the map. If those Vipers can get out and can suck up enough energy, I think RagnaroK needs to delay this push. He needs to keep these Marines back a little bit. But he only has a few Banelings out right now, 14 of them on the field. He's going to need a really good connection. I don't know if Maru's going to give that to him. RagnaroK just trying to hold the front. He has no creep spread here whatsoever, and that is a big problem as well. We might need to see some flanking action, and Maru is going to minimize that, killing those rocks, just making this spot a little bit less accessible for that wraparound. But there are still some spots down here and on this side as well. I'd love to see RagnaroK send some Lings, even some Roaches around one of those angles. Right now, he is just pulling back into his fourth base, eating some losses here, trying to get those Vipers out and ready to go, and now he's going to go in. The Blinding Clouds go down from the backside. Maru, some of his tanks not firing. The Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, and Banes diving through, but more Marines and Marauders show up. The tanks starting to fire once again, and RagnaroK has to pull back. That felt like such a good engagement for RagnaroK, with the reinforcements of Maru showing up at such a crucial time. And those Marines and Marauders just doing a bit too much damage here. The medevac count is so high, it's keeping this small group of units alive for about 100 years. And there's just enough tanks in the back to make it painful for RagnaroK to try to bust through this. Banelings rolling through, getting targeted down by the siege tanks. The base falls, and RagnaroK is now in a lot of trouble. Maru behind us. He's got a fourth base down. He's starting to mine from it. The worker count is dead even between the two, and Maru's 2-2 is about to finish. Got a Liberator coming in, even does get taken down right away, but these Ravagers are going down. Maru is pushing forward into the natural. A Blinding Cloud hits, but there's just not enough units to take advantage of it. GG. Maru takes game number 3. I really love the way RagnaroK played that, but Maru just hitting at the exact perfect time, starting to push through, picking off units, and it felt like he picked off enough units and got set up in such a good position, had a pre-split ready to go, had those reinforcements coming across. He just had a little bit too much for that army of RagnaroK to handle. Really, really well played by Maru. But what an excellent game from RagnaroK. I mean, you know, I feel like I see RagnaroK play a lot, and he's obviously a very strong player, but I don't know that I see too many of these kinds of builds come out of him. It's really nice to see him playing with his brain, you know? It doesn't always happen. The players don't always use their brain, and sometimes it's important not to use your brain. There are moments in the game where your brain is not what you should be playing with. There are other things you have to use. Your heart. Sometimes you have to play with your heart. And one other thing too. But I won't mention that. But so far, been a fun series between these two. I wonder if RagnaroK's going to pull out the cheese again. I wouldn't hate to see it. But I don't know. I don't know if it'll work 2 games in a series like this. Spawning in the upper right-hand corner. So far, giving us some very fun strats. And each game has been severely unique in its playstyle. We have, of course, RagnaroK playing for Mystery Gaming. His opponent in the lower left-hand corner. He's been playing the exact same opening every single game so far, and has now put himself on match point to head to that round of 8. It is Onside Gaming's Maru, who I think is probably likely to be the favorite of most people to win this tournament. Looking at this bracket, it feels like a potential Maru victory. If he faces a Terran, it wouldn't be until at least the semifinals. And I feel like maybe Cure could take him down right now. I don't know that I've seen Gumiho or Byun show that TVT that could defeat Maru, but I mean, it's always possible. Honestly, the thing is, anybody in this bracket is good enough to take games off of Maru, but the hard thing about best of 5s is 1 game is not enough, 2 games is not enough. You gotta win 3. RagnaroK has to win 2 games back-to-back now against what some people might call the greatest Starcraft player of all time. I don't know if I fully agree with that title, but I'm also not gonna argue with them. You know, I'll just be like, yeah, you know, that's a fair opinion. It's a fair opinion to have. Maru is pretty damn good. What does he have, like 7 GSLs now? I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just insane. Honestly, if he wins the KSL as well as the GSLs, how many letters is he going to have left to win tournaments in? Because he'll have ESL, GSL, KSL. How many different StarCraft leagues can we have? Should we get like the NASL back together? And then just have a tournament that Maru can play in? Run an NASL at the next like DreamHack event in Atlanta. Reaper's gonna come in and be a little bit annoying here. They get 1 drone and 1 ling so far. This game though looking a lot more standard. This is what I expect to see from this opening that Maru's been going for. I mean, this is just straight up macro out of RagnaroK to match it up. Right? Nothing crazy here. There was no cheeky bunker and the Bane bust like game 2. No 2 base layers. I feel like Maru's going to be wondering what strat RagnaroK's pulling out next, you know? Like, all right, what tech building should I be looking for? How are you going to try to cheese me this game? But so far, the answer is not at all. It's a macro cheese. That's what RagnaroK's doing. He's doing the macro cheese. Everybody loves that one. Oh, man. Speaking of standard play, I mean, we got Hellions coming out, which I feel like in a normal TVZ is kind of standard instead of the Reapers into Marines. But in this case, Maru's going to get very aggressive here. He's building the Liberator. He's getting the Hellions out. If it wasn't for the Reapers, I would wonder if he's going to put down an Armory and try to do like a Hellbat move. But I think the Hellions in this case are better in Hellion form. They can kind of run around with the Reapers, be a little bit more agile. Liberator probably going to hit the back lines. And then Maru's also just going to have a big group of Stim Marines. Now, RagnaroK has a scout here, of course.
Ready. Here comes a new challenger.
Kind of wish it wouldn't do that. And he's going to spot this. Oh, actually, great leg movement. He's going to be able to see these Hellions moving out. He sees the Liberator as well. So he's going to know exactly what he's up against. There's a Spore Crawler finishing in the main. That's going to be a crucial defensive structure right now for RagnaroK, who's building some Lings. I think the Queens might need to get into position out front. He does have a couple here. But there's Hellions with Reapers hitting on the front. The Liberator going to go around the back. It's going to be very annoying for RagnaroK to deal with. Queen taking a couple of hits here. One drone going down. It looks like that Liberator will escape. Barely. Reapers and Hellions still sharking around, but here come the Marines with Stim as the two medevacs are following this up. Roach is coming out now, though, for RagnaroK. That's a little bit more substantial to push these units away. But he's also got to be aware that the main base is a bit of a threat. Now, RagnaroK does have some creep spread up here. He should be able to send some units up to deal with this. They were in kind of a bad spot, though. They have to run all the way around. A couple of Roaches going to try to buffer. Maru accidentally picks up an uncharacteristic mistake from Maru. I do not think he meant to do that. And he gets out of there, only getting a couple of kills. 2 drones and a Roach, I think. Queen's trying to hold on down here. They may need some support, but for now they're doing a great job. This 4th base under a little bit of assault here, and in fact, Maru is just going to target it down. He is going to pick up and get the hell out of there. Maru killing hatcheries like Colt used to kill Nexuses, which they used to play on Prime together, didn't they? Maru and Colt, they were on a team together. Was it? It was Prime? Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the case. If we have somebody with a good memory in the chat, they'll let us know. Maybe Gemini. Is Gemini around to let us know if that's true or not? Now Roaches here going to get targeted down, but these units going down as well. More Roaches showing up. Maru's going to have to pick up and get out of there. But of course, he's got his 3rd base up and running in the meantime while he stopped the 4th from finishing up for RagnaroK. RagnaroK is just building Roaches right now, though. He's got one nearly done, which is just going to line up with Maru's 1-1. But it feels like RagnaroK wants to just push across the map. He's got more Overlords coming out. The 4th base isn't done. He's on 65 drones, and I think he wants to put some pressure on. Maru, though, set up very nicely defensively and still has this little dropout. Putting pressure on, being annoying. Keeping these Roaches at home defending for now. He's going to pick up. He's going to spot these Ravagers here as the army starts heading across. Oh my god, he drops to kill the Creep Tumor before pulling these Marines home. Maru has recognized he needs to just defend here, and look at this wall. The Gray Wall of Maru is up. Oh my god, and the Roach is just getting massacred by the tanks. He tries to dive forward and get some of those files down. He's going to be able to finally take down 2 siege tanks, but there are still 3 more back here. One more does eat some files. It's finally going to go down, but already 27 Roaches have died in this assault. And Maru's wall is starting to get blasted here. North side seems to be okay, but a lot of the Ravagers are still alive, and that's a lot of bile potential that these Marines need to be very aware of. But as the Marines get biled, that means the tanks cannot. SCV's coming out to fight here. Few Ravagers have gone down. More Roaches are on their way to help support the cause. The SCV is trying to buffer here, trying to just add some fodder to the front line so the tanks and Marines can get their damage done. Another tank does pop out. The Marine production of Maru was hurt a little bit here as one of those barracks, I think, fell. The add-ons are gone. RagnaroK tries to dive forward. He tries to get one of the tanks down. He will successfully kill 1 tank. Pushes the Marines back. RagnaroK still has a lot of stuff here. Oh, a Roach shows up on the wrong side of town. Liberator comes out now as well. 20 SCVs have fallen, but it's still the same worker count on pretty much the same base count. RagnaroK is not using this 4th at all. He's going to try to rotate around the left-hand side and catch Maru a little off guard, but Maru scans. He's got the tanks in position already. Sieges them up, sieges the Liberator up. Oh man, that tank doesn't even go down, and you know what? RagnaroK has missed a few biles here. There's been a few tanks that have eaten only 1 or 2 biles, and it does take 3 to kill those tanks. Gonna try to bust down these rocks, but of course the tank in the meantime gonna get some extra kills on those lings. Oh no, RagnaroK trying to bust up. He does not have high ground vision up here. There are so many Marines. There might be too many Marines. And the Marines are gonna stim forward. They're gonna get on top of these Raptors before the Roach reinforcements show up. Oh my God, Maru targeting down all of those Ravagers, only 2 going to escape. And those are the real scary units. I mean, listen, Roaches are fine and all, but the Ravagers are what were doing the big damage, landing those biles. They can stand behind the Roaches and fire as well, so there's such a good combo together. Taking those down is so important there for Maru, who now has the supply lead as he goes and takes the 4th base. He's up workers. The army is pretty much the same exact supply. We've got 2-2 finishing up much earlier for Maru, as +2 Carib has just started with +1 melee as the Bane Nest went down for RagnaroK. So it looks like RagnaroK now is going to play defensive. I think if Maru recognizes that, he might just go for a push. His army is better. Looks like he's at least going to send the Marines across. His medevac count is huge. It's going to really help him keep these Marines alive as they stim. They'll get healed up pretty much instantly. It's crazy how much stronger those bio units are when they have a count of medevacs like this. And that's why Maru so heavily favors them in a lot of these games. Gonna hit the main base with a drop, sending a few of those medevacs in. The Lings are first to the fight, but they will get absolutely squashed here as the Roaches and Ravagers try to come back in the fight. Maru drops down at this base, but RagnaroK is ready for that. He's gonna push the drop away, but now comes the real push. 10 siege tanks in this push right now. That is an insane amount of tanks. RagnaroK needs to get ready to defend. He's got to bring everything he has. I don't think he has any Banelings with this, but really, the tanks are the deadly unit here. That hive is just not anywhere near done enough yet, and he's going to dive in on top of this. Don't know if there's enough Roaches and Raptors, though. He's going to bile down a couple of siege tanks, gets one more, but there's so many tanks behind that. And the Marines and Marauders starting to push forward a little bit as well, killing some of this creep. Oh man, RagnaroK just eating so many losses every time he goes in. Look at these trades. 6,000 in favor of the Terran. That is a crazy amount of resources, especially considering Maru is mining more. And as the tanks push forward, the Marines and Marauders push forward. Maru again lifts up some units by accident, but even with that, I don't think it's going to matter. Maru's just going to have too much. The 2-2 is just too strong. With no Banelings here, RagnaroK is going to be forced to tap out as Maru holds on in game number 4 and takes the 3-1 victory over RagnaroK. Maru will move on to the round of 8